So as we've discussed, there's a need for elite attacking players to possess speed. Attackers tend to be the fastest players on the team, representing how that speed is needed within football. In the last 12 years, distances covered by high intensity movements and sprinting have increased by 30 to 50%. That's Barnes et al. 2014. It's 36% for attackers. I reckon this is down to central defenders' passing distribution increasing, and that's by Bush et al. 2015, meaning that attackers are required to maintain high levels of intense activity in order to pressure opponents. That's Schuf et al. 2016. So sprint duration during football is between 2 and 4 seconds, and a clear majority of sprint displacements are shorter than 20 metres. That's Burgess et al. 2006 and Vignier et al. 2010. So when designing speed training for footballers, it's crucial to keep the distances relevant to the sport. So with sprint training, Tonneson et al. 2011 explains that linear sprinting improves linear sprinting and repeated sprints improve repeated sprints, but not performance in sprints with change of direction, according to Shalfawi et al. 2013. It basically means that whatever you're training during the sprint, that will improve that kind of sprinting. So if you're doing change of direction sprinting, that's not going to improve your linear sprinting and so on. This suggests that you should basically be varying your sprint drills for football just to take into account the amount of changes in movements during football matches. For example, Bloomfield et al. 2007 says that Premier League players change direction 726 times during a match on average, and only 20% of the time are they moving forward purposely. Strikers turn around 600 times in a match, and they perform the most turns at 270 to 360 degrees. So those kind of movements are the kind of movements you can capture in your training in order to improve on that. Do a repeated sprint. This is an under 20 metre repeated sprint. So all that Connor's going to do now is from this cone here, he's going to sprint explosively to the cone over there, and then he's going to change direction and sprint over there.
Facing forward.
You're going to go that way and then face forward going that way. So when you're ready, mate. Sprint, and then change, and there's your repeated sprint there. This can be adapted to include the movements and turns that strikers will use. It can be adapted so if Connor faces the other way, high command is going to turn around and sprint, and then he's going to go to the cone and then turn around and sprint again. So go and turn. Of course, it's clearly important for strikers to be able to change direction in order to press an opposition, but also to evade opponents. So we're going to do a drill here which basically trains change of direction. So what I'm going to ask Connor to do is to stand in the middle there, and he knows the numbers of the cones, which is number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 to 12. And then I just basically want them to do them. First do the odd numbers. Yeah, so I just want him to do all of the odd numbers now. Okay, so 1, 3, and 5. So figure out where they are, and then when I say go. Okay, so when you're ready, go. There's 1, 3. There we go. Okay, so you can see the different kind of lateral movements because he's doing the side steps and also sprinting forward, because as discussed, strikers don't always move forward during matches, only about 20% of the time. So it's crucial for them to be able to move quickly to different directions. With training change of direction, is it doesn't actually involve a stimulus, which like would be involved in football. For example, if you're pressing a defender, you don't know where the defender's going to pass the ball to next, so you're going to actually have to respond to that. So it's partly a motor skill and a brain reaction skill, reflex. So ability is a high-speed action that involves a rapid change of direction in response to a stimulus, according to Shepherd and Young 2006. So what I'm going to do now is, using the same numbers of the cones, I'm going to ask Connor to run directly to whichever number cone I can say. The reason this is good is because it can involve lots of different changes of direction, because it's a square, so it's going to have all different angles which represent what it would be for a striker. Yeah, I can do if you want. 1 sec. 4, 5, 6. Yeah, okay. Okay, so 1, 7, 5, 12, 11. No, you'd have to come back to the middle. 9. Okay, so 4 to 6 to 12 to 10 to 5, and then give it a rest. That's 5. So you can see an example of how that was kind of reacting to a stimulus. Obviously, if you're doing it normally, you could make them clearer signposted, so it's not as confusing. But you can see how that can be applied for agility training.
So in conclusion, in terms of the outdoor speed training, there was a few things that we didn't get a chance to cover. We were actually going to apply speed training in a game situation through, so an example of how you could do that is setting up cones representing defenders and then calling out positions for the striker to press to. And you can also include commands to incorporate deceleration, which Bloomfield et al. 2007 explained was an important movement for strikers. For example, a defender might go to dummy, clearing a ball and then turn, which is quite common. And if the striker has a good ability to decelerate, he can intercept that ball and potentially score a goal. And also to do with just quickly turning around in order to press more effectively. Yeah, there's also other training that can be utilised is speed of feet. So things like agility ladders and objects to jump over in order to that can have been shown to improve your speed of feet. However, you should incorporate a stimulus in order to make it genuine agility training and make it more applicable to football. Okay, so in conclusion, we've done some evidence-based practice to improve physical components of fitness for an attacker in football. So just a few things to conclude is to make it relevant to the sport and to the athlete based on performance analysis and his role within the team. Bear in mind how the game is changing in order to adapt their training towards what's suitable for performance. And also make sure that the training can fit into a program realistically. So in this video we've covered hamstring injury prevention through the Nordic curl, and we've done some speed training through resistance training and traditional speed and agility training and change of direction. However, obviously other components of fitness are required to be attacker, and those shouldn't be neglected when designing a training program for attacking players. So whilst the hamstring injury prevention seems to be pretty conclusive in terms of the evidence available that it works at elite level, speed training of elite players is still in its infancy. So all the further research that is coming out around resistance training to do with squats and also with powerlifting should be followed and taken into further consideration in order to apply it to future training. Thank you.